Hey, what's up guys? John here from the Reaper blog. In this video, I've got some EDM techniques to show you. I've got this little demo project that I whipped up in half an hour, and I think there's some cool stuff in here. So let's listen to this track, and then I'll break down the two production elements that I'd like to show you today. Okay, so it's really this main part from bar 3 to 5 I want to show you. If we look at the master track, there's this effects chain of Protoverb, ReaEQ, and Sausage Fattener. Sausage Fattener is not doing anything on here other than just, keeping it from clipping. But what's actually happening here is Protoverb's wet and dry mix are changing. The bypass is changing. The EQ's bypass is changing. The high pass is going up, and the bandwidth is increasing. So you're going to play back this automation, you'll see this happening. Now, if I play this section back without the effect, it doesn't have this nice build. So here we go. It's pretty static all the way through. In fact, it's clipping by 3 dB. So that's not going to work. This complex set of automation is happening 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 10 different automation envelopes happening in this one section. And that's only for 2 plugins. So that's kind of a lot. There's a new plugin from Dada called Endless Smile. It's like $40 and it just does this. There's one knob and a couple different flavors that you can choose from. I think 7 different ones. But essentially it does this. It's putting on a reverb, it's putting on an EQ curve, it's high passing it, maybe it adds in a little bit of noise or pitch shifting or something like that, maybe some saturation. But essentially it's like one knob that does all these effects. And for some people, $40 is a lot of money, and for some people it's nothing, it's a no-brainer. It's gonna make your life easier. I wanted to figure out how to do it manually before I go and buy that plugin. I want to see if it's worth it. But anyways, this is how I did it. And I did this mostly in latch record mode. I like to do things through the global mode. So I click on latch. I go to the start of the track and set my start point, bring my wet to 0. I set up my EQ the way I like. Then I go to the first place where I'm going to make the change. So that's bar 3. I usually just click again on those parameters that I want. So I have an automation breakpoint there. And then I go to the end of that automation change, if I'm only doing a linear ramp like this, and I choose my endpoint. So I want this to be like up here. Then I make sure it's flat after that, and I engage the bypass. So if I go back to read mode, you'll see how this works. That's the first effect that I wanted to show you. And the second effect is on the hi-hat. It's just a little bit of automation for rePitch. I also have a soft clipper on here just because the effect can make it peak by about 5 dB. So just want to make sure that the levels stay roughly the same. Here's a hi-hat and no master effects. Just a sample, the same sample repeated on the grid line, and with the effect, it sounds like this. It's really simple, but this is something that took me quite a while to figure out the first time. It sounds like pitch shifting, but the pitch doesn't actually go up. If you change the pitch shift, it's going to sound completely different. So it's actually a formant shift, which gives the appearance of it raising in pitch without actually changing the note. The most common places you'll see this is in builds in sections like this. You'll hear it being used on the hi-hat or the claps or the snares, things like that. And it's just a little formant shift going up. And this plugin is included with REAPER. It's really easy, just one parameter to automate. You can draw it in or you can do it in write mode, whatever you like. So that's it. Just a couple EDM production and mixing tips. I really enjoy these sorts of tricks. They make mixing kind of fun. And EDM is all about that complex automation. And that's it. 2 little EDM production tricks to help with buildups, using Formant shift and using EQ and reverb to make a intense buildup. Thanks a lot for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Support the Reaper blog through Patreon. Visit reaperblog.net for a lot more tutorials.